everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and my special guest today. She has made headlines recently for appearing on both WWE Monday Night Raw and AEW Dark Elevation on the same night. They call that pulling a Rick Rude because he is the only other wrestler ever to do that. She grew up a competitive gymnast and has cheered for the NHL, NBA, and NFL, and she's a D2 cheerleading coach. You know her, though, as one of Bobby Lashley's ladies. Everyone, please say hello to Kelsey Heather.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you, Kelsey. You made such a splash just a couple weeks ago with these two appearances. And I feel like everyone's been talking about you, but not to you. So I'm really glad to give you this opportunity today to get to know, for your fans to get to know you a little bit.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm very excited.
Cool. Well, let's kick off right there with this headline making, this history making appearances that you've had. How did you find yourself appearing on both Raw and AEW Dark Elevation in the same night, girl?
It was just a lucky coincidence, I guess. It's not a secret. Both shows were taped, were pre-filmed prior to. I obviously knew the Raw show was going to be airing on that next Monday. However, when I went to Dark, these Dark matches, you never know when they're going to air necessarily. So I didn't even know it was airing on that Monday until I saw the graphic on Twitter on Sunday. And I was like, oh, this is going to get interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Lucky coincidence.
So, like when you were at Raw, and I know you've been there several times to the tapings and appeared many times there. Did you tell anybody, like, oh, hey, I taped these matches for AEW as well, and I'm looking forward to when those air?
No. So the Raw filming was on Tuesday, and I didn't even know I was going to be invited to AEW until Tuesday night, even after we were done filming Raw. So it was very, very quickly. We filmed the Dark match on Wednesday in Miami when they were live over there. And again, didn't know when that Dark match was going to air or if it was going to air. I was just excited to be there and for the opportunity. So it was just super fun. So I had no idea up until.
Well, yeah, anyone who's trying to break in big into the wrestling business would be really excited about either one of those gigs, right? You landed them both in the same night. How did you get to be, an extra on Raw and a wrestler on AEW Dark?
Yeah. So I had done a few extra segments with WWE starting since about 2019. My first extra role was actually when NXT first went live on the USA Network. So that first show, I was an extra there. And that was my first extra spot. And since then, I've done a few things here and there. I extraed at WrestleMania this year. So super, super fun, super exciting things. And then just recently with Bobby Lashley as part of the Lashley ladies.
So how does that, I know how that works, but tell everybody, how does it work? They give you a call and say, hey, come on down. We might use you. We might not. It's nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah, exactly. You never know until you get there, like what your role is going to be. So a lot of the extra roles that I've done before, I could just be in the background, sitting on a couch. You always bring your gear because you never know. You could be out there.
Fingers crossed, right?
Everyone hopes for it, So you never know. And then it could be a spot just like Bobby Lashley. We got there week one. The plan was to keep rotating the funnel, having like fresh faces every week. That's what we had come in there thinking that was going to happen. And then they liked us. They decided to keep us week after week. But that, they would give us a call a couple days before, like, hey, are you available to come? We need you back next week. And we're like, perfect, great. So we just didn't know it was a week by week thing. And as many weeks as they wanted us there, we were grateful and so excited to be a part of it. So.
Yeah, it's so awesome to be behind the scenes there and kind of get your eyes on all the talent. Did you get to interact with some of the wrestlers?
Absolutely. It's always so great to be behind the scenes because you get a different look and a different aspect. Especially being a part of the Lashley ladies, a lot of the things that we did were the behind the scenes segments. So we got to meet a ton of the producers. We got to see kind of the behind the scenes of storytelling and building a promo and how all that aspect goes into play, how the shots are done. So I was just eyes and ears the whole time, taking it all in and really learning about how everything comes into play to make this amazing show.
It's almost overwhelming, isn't it?
So many moving parts, so many people, just, it was crazy, but so much fun to be there. And the more times we were there, it was really neat because then people started recognizing us and like, oh, great to see you again. That just, made us all feel really good and welcomed. And everyone was so nice every time we were there. So nice, so welcoming, which was awesome. It was a great experience for sure.
And I'm sure that you got some extra FaceTime with Bobby as you're sitting around waiting to record things and stuff, right? What were your interactions with him like?
Yeah, Bobby is just the best. He is the nicest person ever. So nice. Bobby and MVP. They knew that I was an indie wrestler. The other girls that were a part of Lashley Ladies, they are fitness models or personal trainers, different things there. I was the only indie wrestler a part of the group. So when they found out that I was a part of the indies, they were so great and offered me so many tips. MVP gave me some nuggets on how to build a promo and like when someone hands you a promo, how to break it down, little tips on matches, setting up matches, TV time, where to look for a camera and different things there. So again, just taking it all in and learning wherever I can with whoever's willing to give out little nuggets of information. It's awesome.
I love that so much. Are you one of the ones who's brave enough to ask someone to watch one of your matches?
No, no.
I don't think I would be either. I know people do that.
Nope. If they don't ask to see it, nope, nope. I mean, they're so busy when they're there.
Right.
I mean, they're working. When they're there, they have, again, like you said, there's so many things going on. They're working on promos, they're building their matches, they're talking with producers and storylines. And it's not just this week, it's the next week, it's the next 3 weeks, it's, whatever is going on. So I never wanted to be in the way or take off the focus from them. So if whenever the conversation broke, if there was, a lot of time when we can just sit and chat, they definitely sat and chatted with us, which was so great of them to take the time out of their workday and stress and different things when they could just be in catering, relaxing by themselves, but they chose to sit and talk with us and offer feedback and just really get to know us as people beyond just their extras. So that was really, really awesome of them to do.
Well, and I know there's a lot of pressure backstage to really conduct yourself in a certain way, to make sure that you don't take someone's time when they're not giving it to you. There's a lot of pressure to do the right things when you're backstage in a situation like that. Did you encounter any missteps? I know I said some stuff to people I shouldn't have said. Anything like that?
I think you're always like on edge. Like you said, you want to be in your best behavior. Every time I was there, I took it as an interview. You never know who's watching. I showed up, my hair was done, my makeup was done. I was dressed, I was ready to go. If they needed me in 2 seconds, like I was there, like, cool, gone. See you soon. So, like I said, everyone was very welcoming with us there. It was also, where we were filming, it was at the Yingling Center at USF, and they had been there for several weeks before. So I think that kind of made it a little bit more of a almost calmer environment because everything was already set up. It's been there for a while. And again, we were kind of there whenever they needed us. We had our own backstage area where we were. And then just so that if they needed us, they knew exactly where we were. We're here. And again, if people wanted to chill and talk with us, absolutely, we welcome the conversation. But again, we were just there for whatever they needed.
Were you getting a lot of feedback? Because you guys had a pretty specific role. So like, for example, I know you were there when they were in the Thunderdome, and then also when they had live fans too. Did the direction that you were given change?
No, not really. We were just the direction that they wanted for the Lashley Ladies was just that we were friends of the group. We were there to cheer on the champion, have a good time, and just all be like a friendly group. And that's honestly what they made it on camera and off camera. Again, they were so nice, so friendly, very welcoming when we were there. And it was just a great time. And I think once we because that camaraderie was already there, there wasn't much real not direction, but it was just like, go out there and have fun, and party, be lively, be energetic. And you know, if they told us to take it down a notch, we take it down a notch, but they never told us to. So we just went with it, you know. So it was great. We just had a lot of fun with it.
It looked like you were having fun. We saw you, smiling and laughing and looking gorgeous. A little different than the sassy gal that we saw go up against Layla Hirsch on Dark Elevation. A fantastic match. I went back last night and watched it again. What did you think after the filming was over? How did you felt it had gone?
I just had so much fun. It was just so I'm fairly new to the independent wrestling scene. My first couple matches were maybe a month or two before COVID broke out and all of indie wrestling went. So I've only had probably about a handful of matches with an audience there under my belt. All my other matches
That was one of the things I thought you did the most, was like kind of waiting for the crowd, looking to them, working the camera. I wondered if maybe you had worked a TV match before. Kudos.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, so for that, like, I just fed off of the crowd, like walking out there, feeling the energy. And I've been in entertainment for so long, with cheer, gymnastics. I also did theme park entertainment for many years. So having that crowd and that energy, that's something that I built off of. So I just wanted to go out there and enjoy the moment, whatever that moment was, however long we had out there. I just wanted to go out there and have fun. And Layla was awesome. She was so nice. And I was not surprised, but honestly surprised at how willing to work with us these talent are. You know, we got out there and she was so wonderful to work with, wanted to know if there's anything that I wanted to do specifically in the match, and different things like that, which was so wonderful. Especially, I know this was like her first match coming back, I believe, from an injury too. And for her to fully trust me, not knowing what I have done as a wrestler, was so like welcoming, and it was an awesome experience. I had a great time.
There's so many veteran producers and agents over there. Did you get a chance to work directly with someone who is helping you with your match?
Yeah. So Dustin Rhodes helped put together our match. Yes. Which
Whoa.
I know, which I was very, again, surprised at, for dark matches, that these big time producers and big names were the ones that were helping us with it. You know, Serena Deeb's had a little bit of a part in our match too, and helping and being like, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? My coach, Sean Spears, he kind of went over it too, kind of helping me like, okay, don't forget this, remember this. And then even after the match, Mark Henry took the time to come up to both of us and break down the match with us, give us feedback. And, you know, for a dark match, for as short of a match that we had, he didn't have to do that. And the fact that he took the time out of his day to help me, and help us, I was amazed by that. I'm so grateful for all the feedback that we got. I had a wonderful experience. I loved it.
You mentioned Sean Spears there. You've trained with him, is that right?
Yes, so he's my coach at Flatbacks Training in Orlando.
Okay, and is that how you got onto AEW Dark?
No.
Oh,
Actually.
Okay. Tell everybody out there who wants their spot how you got yours.
Actually, so AEW was coming to Miami, and one of the promoters that I worked with in Miami had reached out to me about an opportunity with AEW coming, and that's how I got it there. So I worked for a promoter in Miami, and then he reached out to me with AEW coming to Miami. I had no idea if I was going to have a match there, if I was going to have a dark match or not. I thought it was just like an invite, and I was, again, showed up with my gear ready to go for whatever they needed me to do or to be at. No expectations, but wanting to do everything, of course, and was just so grateful that I got that opportunity when I was there.
Now, you cheered for I'm very bad with unscripted sports, but an NFL team that's in Florida that's not the one that Tony Khan's dad owns, right? Is there any animosity? There was like, ooh, girl, you're cheering for the wrong team.
No. I don't even know if he knows I cheered for the Bucks, and I cheered for the Bucks in 2015. So about 5 years ago. It's been a while. I'm a Tampa native, but actually one of my girlfriends cheered for the Jaguars. So very familiar with both. So again, Love that though. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's something that I'm really interested in too. And I wanted to talk though a little bit more about your training. You'd mentioned Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze is another one of
Yeah.
your coaches. Is that right? When did
Yeah.
you start? How did you get started?
Yeah. So again, I was training here locally in Tampa and started doing just a few matches right before COVID broke and the indie scene kind of went away. So when COVID kind of broke out, that's when I took a very deep dive on where I was personally in my indie wrestling scene and where I wanted to be and what my 5-year plan was, what my 3-year plan was. And I realized that like I wasn't where I wanted to be quite yet. And I wanted more training and really to excel. And I knew that this was the time to really get some good training in while everything was shut down. So I did some research. I found flatbacks. I knew it was a distance away from where I live. It is about an hour and a half to 2-hour drive from where I live to get over there. But I knew the coaches would be 100% worth it. And it has been one of the best investments or actually the best investment I've ever made in my professional wrestling career was going to flatbacks and getting that training in there. And they're awesome. I've gotten to work. I've, gotten to do practice matches with Breeze, with Spears, with Cassie Lee. So it's so awesome to work with them. And they're such great people. And we have guests come in all the time from WWE, from AEW, from independent teams. We have them come in and we get to wrestle with a bunch of different people, which is just so cool. And it's been a really, really great experience over there. I love it.
Wow. So now that was about maybe like a little over a year ago now.
Yeah.
When you look at your 3-year, 5-year plan, where are you at now?
Now I'm just like, I'm amazed at how quickly that went.
Right.
My plan was just to start building a name, start doing matches once the independent scene hit. And then now it was like, especially just with this AEW match, I'm hoping that my name continues and I can continue to do independent scenes and just continue to grow my name and do more matches all through the independents, wherever people want me to go. But that was part of my plan this year, was to really break out in the independent market. I'm just hoping that maybe this leads a little stepping stone there for me.
Are you hoping to get signed with one company? Is that the goal?
I think that's every wrestler's goal, is to get signed, but one company, another company, I just want to wrestle. I just love the business. I love the industry. I know I'm extremely new, so I'm just here. I want to get experience, build on that experience, take in all the nuggets of information that I can so that I can be the best performer, the best entertainer, and like a really good candidate for whatever company is looking for talent.
Did you get any indication from either WWE or AEW that they will remember you next time they're doing signings? That maybe you will be invited to a tryout, or that there'll be another opportunity for you in the future with either company?
No indication really, but again, they have my information, they have my name. If opportunities come, I hope that they would come and reach out to me. I have their information too. I like to stay very open in my communication, just so I'm not forgotten about. So I try to reach out every now and then, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm here if you need anything. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I expect to see your name on the list next time I hear about tryouts
Oh, thank you.
over there. Another, you just mentioned Cassie Lee as well, Sean Spears' wife. Is she someone that you've gotten to know fairly well?
Yes. So she is at our trainings almost every day, and she does step in the ring with us. It's really great, especially having a female coach with us, because again, the female body moves a lot differently than a man's body. There's a lot of different things that we have to be cognizant of. So it's really great to have a female in the ring with us to kind of help us and also guide us in different things, like, oh, maybe be careful with this, or watch where you put your weight here. So it's really great. She's been awesome. I love her.
I do too. And I just think the world of her talent, both in the ring, promos. I mean, everything that she and Jess did together and separate, I thought was just amazing. How would you say she's doing right now?
She's great. I mean, she's still at our practices. She comes there. She offers feedback. She's doing her podcast now, which is doing super
Yes.
well. I
It's
know
so good.
I know they're having such a fun time with that. So right now, I think I haven't had one-on-one conversations about what her plan is or what she's doing, but she's at training, and I think she looks happy. So.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. But working really closely with women is nothing new to you with your history in gymnastics and cheerleading and as a cheerleading coach.
Mhm.
Like I said, I just think the world of professional cheerleading is fascinating as well. Have you ever watched those shows like Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders Making the
Yeah.
Team or like LA Clippers Dance Squad had one for a
I love
while?
her shows.
Too. Would you say that that's pretty accurate to the experience of being a professional cheerleader?
Yes, a lot of it is. I mean, of course, some of it is over exaggerated a little bit, but the tryout process, like they do in the DCC, was very similar to my experience on the Bucks. We did not have a month long training camp. Our training camp, I think, was about a week long. But yeah, I mean, you show up, there's 200 plus women, and you're competing against maybe 7 open spots on the team. So it can get very intimidating, but I kind of thrive in that kind of competitive environment,
Yeah.
which is probably why I love wrestling so much. So much of wrestling reminds me of all the things that I've done in the past, between like the athleticism, the gymnastics, the promos, and the entertainment work, the cameras. Like it all encompasses everything that I've done while giving me a new challenge and something to work towards. So I think that's why it has drawn me in so much to the industry, and I've been loving it so much.
Well, we saw you in that match with Layla, but we haven't had the opportunity to hear you cut a promo just yet. I got a little idea of who you kind of are as a wrestler when you come out, as Kelsey Heather. But when we do get a chance to see you in a promo, what would you say your feel is? What I don't want to say character because it's you, but what are your characteristics?
My characteristics, so for the AEW Dark Match, I think that's the kind of vibe that you'll see with me moving forward. Like you said, a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, a little sassy,
Very confident.
very confident, loves the glitz, loves the glamour, but not afraid to talk back. So
I love that. And fabulous ring gear as well. I think people
yeah,
don't realize how difficult that having to deal with what you're going to wear on top of everything else is, right?
yeah. Yes. And that's one of my favorite parts is the gear. I changed my mind so many times. Bless my gear designer. I love her to death. And I probably text her all the time. I'm like, actually, can we change that? I want this.
Right.
And that comes out probably from my entertainment background too, because I've worn so many different costumes. I have so many ideas. So I'm like, if I don't get it in 2 weeks time, I'm probably going to change my mind. So
Oh, that's
but
so
yeah, I love it. The costumes, the glitz, the glamour, all that is so fun to me to be able to use that creative outlet and form that kind of character that I want.
You've also now been able to be done up by the WWE Glam Squad,
Yeah.
who I just think are the absolute best in the world. The AEW Glam Squad is fantastic as well. I mean, I feel like that gives you a complex after a while. You let them do your hair and makeup enough times, and you look in the mirror when you do it, and you're like, oh man,
I know. I'm
this
like,
is how I really looked. Shoot.
I, I
Right.
know. They were awesome. They were so nice and so friendly, and great to meet. And great, awesome people too. I mean, they all had different jobs on the side as well, on top of what they're doing here. Brittany with WWE Glam Squad, she just has these patches that just came out online, the Chub Rub, I believe it's called. So they're doing awesome things beyond just the makeup and hair, and getting to know them as people too is so cool.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
great.
I have a question. I have a question from one of my subscribers, from
Woo!
Fernando. He wanted
Okay.
to know if you grew up as a wrestling fan.
So So I was a gymnast growing up. So I really didn't watch much TV at all. I went to school, and straight from school, I took another school bus from my school to my gym. And then from the gym, I went home. So by the time I got home, it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And my little brother was actually a very big wrestling fan. So by the time I got home, the only thing that was on our TV was wrestling. So I say that I was a wrestling observer. And I say say that because I would watch it with my brother, but I wasn't 110% fully invested. Like, I didn't really know everyone's names and pay that much close attention to it, but I would watch and be like, "Ooh, that was cool. Oh, that was fun." But it wasn't until after college and I cheered and I did the professional, and I still wanted to be in this entertainment aspect. And I wasn't sure where exactly to go. And it was at that moment that all of a sudden wrestling came on my TV and I started watching it really in depthly. And of course, at this time now, the physicality with the females are much different than when they were back in the day. So watching that side of it, that's really where I became a true fan of the industry and of the business. And then moving on from there was when I was like, I want to do this. This is so cool. I love this. Let's give this a try. So yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. And we just hope the absolute best for you. What is next? Is there something you're working on right now? Is there some appearance that you've recorded that we're going to see again in another week or two? What do you got going on?
I am just training. I am hoping to do more matches in the independent scene as well, especially this year. That's my goal for this year, is to really break out in the independent market and do as many matches as I can this year, just to add more credibility to my name, and to get more experience. That's really my goal for this year, is the experience factor and learning and growing, and really owning this craft and diving in fully invested now while continuing my training. So I guess just I keep watching the social medias. I'll promote any matches that I'm going to be at, or appearances or whatever, and you'll see where I am.
Yeah. Well, tell everybody where to find you on socials or how to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on Instagram and Twitter. Both of them are the same handle. It's just Kelsey H. Heather. Kelsey is SEYH Heather. That's me.
All right. Well, Kelsey, we will be watching. Thank you so much for answering my and my subscribers' questions today. So great to get to know you, and we are expecting very big things. So I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Thank you for having me.